East. What's up, Easton?
Dr. John Delony.
What's up? How we doing, man?
Well, I'd like to steal your answer and say I'm partying, but...
But it's early in the morning in Manhattan, Kansas, so probably not.
Yeah, it's one of those, we had good weather, it changed its mind, got to go through it again, and
there we go.
Here we are.
There we go. What's up, brother? How can I help?
Well, John, I'd written in, I think twice now. I'd had some difficult things to navigate come up between me and my girlfriend, and my question is just, things kind of ended in a mess, man, and I need help picking up the pieces and moving on.
Go back to the first thing you wrote in about, because that may give us some clues as to how you can help move on.
Yeah, so had this all written out so I can ramble and you can cut me off at any point.
Okay.
Dive into it. You do a really good job at that. That's why I figured you'd be a help to me, because you're good at just lean in, explain it to somebody like they're 5 and move on.
I don't think that's because that's about where my learning stopped. And so my vocabulary stopped. So, all right, go for it, man.
Okay. So me and this girl, we met and we dated for about a year and a half, and things were serious to the point where we were planning on getting married. I was actually supposed to talk to her dad relatively soon about when we were supposed to get engaged. So we were proceeding with that mindset. I mean, so were my folks, so were hers. And we just kind of hit some obstacles within the past 2 months. So we're both Christians, and my dad's actually a worship pastor. And it's just always been the case that, my dad and I listen to secular music throughout the week, throughout our daily lives. That's just been what's normal for me. It's been what's normal for him, and something that we share. Well, the girlfriend did not agree with some of the stuff that I was listening to. It's nothing bad. It's stuff that, I would tell you I listen to now, stuff that I share with my parents. So I didn't have any real level of concern. She had a lot of concern. And it was to the point where, she was pulling up lyrics on her own and music videos, and I don't like the cover of this. And it was kind of put a wedge between us, because she had a lot of concern. I didn't have a lot of concern. And she was just left questioning, are we on the same page with basic convictions? Where
else was she picking you apart? Because music is an easy one, but that it would be very rare if there was just that issue. Just that issue. What else was she picking you apart on?
Another one that kind of put a wedge between us. I'm a current student and I'm studying exercise science, and I was watching a video on just, it's a personal training class. So it's, how do you take measurements of folks and you navigate that. And there's a video, it's just a girl in leggings and a training top and just showing, the proper etiquette of taking measurements. And it made her very uncomfortable that I had to watch that. And she was pretty emotional.
Yeah, it sounds like she is way too immature to be in a relationship right now.
Yeah, that may be the case.
Not that she has convictions. Convictions are fine. Or let me say this. I'll say it this way. She's too immature to be in a relationship with you. Or if you're going to be a personal trainer, that's an intimate role, right?
Yeah.
Like my job, my training as going through my counseling program, sitting in practicum, listening to very intimate conversations about struggles people are going through. Or you listen to this show. I have some very intimate conversations with people. I have to be married to somebody who trusts me with everything, right? With their life. And you don't have that. And if she doesn't like the music you listen to, my wife doesn't like my music. I don't really care for hers. And so I don't listen to it in the car unless it's just a great song, and then I have to. But we don't have that. But she trusts my character and my integrity, and you don't have that, right?
Yeah, I think you're right on the money there. It was just the way that we proceeded, because I don't think this is what ended things, and I'll get to that. But kind of the conclusion that we both reached is, hey, there's a level of concern on her end. Maybe I can learn something from that. And so I actually put it down for quite a while and just spent some time reflecting on, could this be something that's a negative influence, just to be fair to her and her concerns.
Okay.
So that was, like I said, that was just, we weren't able to have a good conversation because I was trying to explain to her, hey, I'll take some time away. I'm asking that you're open to that, but here's what happened. So that's just background for the situation we're in. I did. I won't get into specifics with you just because I know exactly what I did and what was said that was too far, and just in terms of our own boundaries. But I had crossed some boundaries. We didn't, as a couple, cross any physically, but between the concerns she already had and some of the things that I said, I don't know what led to this, John, but she decided to essentially test my own convictions. So we're on a car ride home together, and she just looks at me and says, we're already thinking about getting engaged, and we're thinking about getting married, fairly soon. I'm probably okay if we go ahead and sleep together now in light of that. And that's something that we had talked about early on, waiting, saving ourselves for marriage. And so that's the conversation we had. And she decided to put it into the test, and I failed. And
whoa. Dude, run from this. Run from this. Okay? Just run from this. Let this be a learning lesson for you and your heart and your soul. And just dust your sandals off, man, and head to the next town. Okay? Because here's the deal. Oh, man. It sounds like you were in a relationship with a very manipulative person. A person that was always going to find fault with you, was going to be testing you. I mean, how's that for a basis of relationship?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it kind of caught me off guard because that's not the her that I knew.
Well, and okay, so y'all had made an agreement, and she comes in and says, "Hey, I think I want to change the agreement." And you go, "Oof, okay, I'll change the agreement." And then she's like, "Gotcha." No, dude, I don't want to be in relationship with that person. Like, I don't want to be in relationship with somebody that's playing gotcha with me, because then you can never walk on two firm feet, right? You're always wondering, is this a test? Is it? It's never a true relationship conversation. It's a pop quiz. And dude, relationships are too hard as it is. Life is too messy as it is. You have to make too many real-time decisions as it is. I got to know our foundations are firm, and you guys, and we're in this together. And if you bring up one of the foundations, that this is real talk. This is not, let's do testing time. She's not ready to be in a relationship. Or maybe she is, but just, I wouldn't recommend people be in a relationship with her at this time.
Yeah. And, what's your advice for moving on? Because it's
you got hurt.
That's kind of
you got hurt.
Yeah,
you got hurt, and I think you got to grieve it, and you have to learn that in the future, if you have identified something in your life as a value, for you, listening to music's a value, and I can tell by this phone call, you're not out listening to the crazy stuff, right? But you've made listening to music a value. And if somebody comes in and says, this value is not going to work for me, I want you to have enough courage to stand on your own and say, okay, this is probably not going to be the relationship for us. See what I'm saying?
I do.
And so I think it's about you exhaling and saying, man, I had plans. We had plans. Whew. And I dodged a bullet on this one. Because, by the way, this would have shown up with kids, would have shown up with the fence would have gotten tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. You see what I'm saying? And let me, in defense of her, here's the way she can enter into relationships like this. I know she's not on the phone, and I don't like talking about people that aren't on the phone, but here we are. The way you enter into this conversation is, hey, I have a real aversion to profanity or any sort of like sexuality in movies or music. I don't do it. I don't want to be around people that do. And then you have a choice to make, right? Because she's put her boundaries out on the table, very clear. But it's when a song comes on the radio and then she pulls up the lyrics about that song and then goes home and Googles the cover. And then, you see what I'm saying? It's this slow, it's just a slow net that's slowly getting tighter and tighter around you. Instead of just coming out and saying, hey, here are my values. And it just feels like a game of gotcha. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
So I think you're allowed to be sad. I think you're allowed to be heartbroken. And my hope is you'll leave this and write down a few things. Here's what I learned. Here's what I learned about myself. And in a weird way, can I say something strange?
By all means.
In the same thing she was accusing you of, you compromised some of your values. And so go back to the drawing board and say, these are my values. I don't want to be with somebody who's going to try to trick me. I don't want to be with somebody who's always secretly testing me and then is going to show me the results of my failed pop quiz. I don't want someone who distrusts my integrity so much that I never know what's okay and what's not. I think that's fair. How does that sound?
Yeah, I think that's kind of exactly the headspace that I was, just talking with friends and, peers around me. Just, if we're really not going to get back together, then there are other, conversations and areas where, there wasn't compromise. It's just, I give up something to be with her. And,
hey, Easton, that's the big deal. Like iron sharpens iron. My friends call me out. My community members call me out. My former academic, ride or dies, they call me out. They hear things on the show and they're like, "Hey, I wouldn't say it like this," or "Why didn't you do this?" or "Why didn't you?" And I need that in my life. My wife has said, "Hey, why do you listen to this record? It's not a good. That's not who you are, right?" But we have the conversation. It's not a grenade. It's not a test. I never doubt her love for me, and I never doubt her fidelity, and I never doubt her character. And so it's an iron sharpens iron question. And then if I can't answer it, then maybe she's right. But if I can answer it, then she's like, okay, cool. I don't care for that. And then I love that. See what I'm saying? So it's easy to say never challenge somebody. No. You don't want to be married to somebody that doesn't challenge you. But you don't want to be with somebody who doesn't ever compromise and doesn't tell you ahead of time the things that they won't compromise on. And then when you say, yeah, these are the things I don't compromise either, that suddenly they're going to test you. Dude, the world will test you. You have to have somebody with you when those tests come. And it sounds like your buddies, I'm aligned with your friends. I don't see a path forward to y'all getting back together, dude, unless you sit down and say, here are things I just won't budge on. These are important to me. Number one, that you're not running tests on me. I'm not a test subject. And two, you be very clear at the front end, at the top. Here are things that matter to you, and here are things that we're not going to that you don't want to cash in and out on. Great, awesome. Let's start there. Sorry you got your heart broken, brother. I hate that for you. And I also don't want you to waste this opportunity that you can learn about yourself, learn about the values you have, and make sure you write those down. And that you learn to be upfront with other people that you're going to run into, date, meet in the future. And you can learn, I don't want to be like what happened to me. I'm going to be clear about my values. I'm also going to be clear about the conversations about my values. And maybe one day my values change. But they're not going to be done. They're not going to change from a surprise conversation in a car. They're not going to be changed because of a gotcha or because I'm just so desperate to stay with you all. No. That's not how they're going to change. They're going to change in community. Iron sharpens iron. Thanks for the call, brother.